And welcome to In the Mouth of Monster. I'm your host, Monster Dugan, and we're starting our season 3 here, and we have a couple of changes. If you haven't noticed, we're actually going video now as well as audio. And I have a new co-host. My old co-host, John Schatzer, had to step away for some things beyond his control. So I have a new co-host with me, and we're going to get into this here. Excited to start this new season and see what it brings us. And we got some really cool interviews lined up for this whole season. And so, welcome to my co-host here, Miss Gloria Jean Robertson, indie award-winning indie actress, and big on the scene right now. She's got a lot of things going on. So, how are you doing?
Hi, yes, hi, yeah. If you want, you can refer to me as Gloria Jean Movie Queen. That's my Instagram name. That name was given to me by an Arizona actor a long time ago, and I needed to come up with an Instagram name, and I said that rhymes. I'll just keep it. So what do I got going on right now? I just finished a music video that I did at a studio in Phoenix, the Taps. It was one Take One Studios. I just did that. That was really fun for a music artist, Maria Glassner. And what else did I do? I'm doing some stuff with a group called Myka Media. It's MYKA Media, and they're a group out of Mexico, but they're making another group here in America. They're branching out to do, and I do these little videos. They're like little morality plays, and I've done about a dozen of them now. And as far as any other projects, I am just sending out auditions, and I just finished a feature film in April that should be coming out soon. It's
Awesome.
called, what's it called? Anarchy Radio. So I
Awesome.
played the mother of the main character, Drew Lopez. So I'm looking forward to that. The guy with the producer was like, the filmmaker was he was from Mexico also, but he was like French and Italian, I think it was. Very, very cool. And I can't think of the filmmaker's name. He was the director. I can't think of the filmmaker's name. He was a nice young guy from here, from Arizona. That's about it.
Nice. Yeah, and also I already shot and we're in post-production now for my new short film coming out called Sorry I'm
Exciting.
Late, which you're gonna be doing the voice of the mother character in it. So
Yes.
we'll be hearing you pretty soon in that movie, which I plan to premiere in January if possible. But it's a
Yes.
very triggering movie and about suicide and mental health, and so I'm hoping it'll cause a lot of controversy and be very
Yeah.
popular on this film festival circuit. So we'll see what happens. So
Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. I'm sorry. I forgot to. We're
oh
gonna
no,
do that.
no,
We're
yeah,
working on that one, and it's I just the music video that I just did. I played an alcoholic woman, and the lady. So that's gonna be triggering also. And the one the like I'm reflecting back. There's a young girl who's in the video, and I'm talking really mean to her and stuff. So I'm gonna get some more practice with talking mean and awful. And it turns out I was talking mean and awful to myself. So can't wait to see it. Can't wait
yeah.
to do
I
this
just
one
did
too.
of my first ever real. I've done one voice role before, but you can't tell. You couldn't hear me. You couldn't tell it was me. But I just did a
Mm.
new voice role for a movie called Bathtub Shark Attack by my friend Maddie, who I do a podcast with called The Shitty
Oh,
Shark Show, which
that's
we
funny.
review shitty shark movies, every shark movie you can think of, good or
Oh,
bad.
I love it.
So, people want to check that out. You can check that out soon. We're actually doing a season 2 of that as well. So episode 1 will be out soon. Maddie's putting it together right now. We're doing video on that one as well. We were all audio for our first season, but now we're back on that. But yeah, so I got to play a mean, basically the neighbor who yells a lot of cuss words and stuff at
What's
people
that
on the
called?
street.
What's the male Karen called? What are they called?
Oh, I don't know.
Carl?
But yeah,
Kevin?
that would be
Kevin.
me though in that movie.
I think they're Kevins.
Oh yeah. You can check me out on IMDb as the asshole neighbor. I put that in there
Oh,
as the character,
oh, it's
and they
funny. I'll
accepted
have
it.
to put.
So yeah,
Oh, awesome. I'll
so
have to
that's
put my
pretty cool.
IMDb up somehow. I guess we can maybe add that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Um. So enough of us BSing here. We're gonna get to our next segment here, well, our first segment, which we're bringing back with my buddy Joe Gurmo, famous tattoo artist, world famous tattoo artist here from Queen Creek, Arizona. We're gonna be hopping into the Average Joe segment where we review a movie. Well, he reviews a movie, and I kind of ask him a few questions about this to get his take because he's not as into the movie scene as we are. He's more just an an average watcher of films and stuff. So,
Mhm.
uh, so we're gonna take a break real quick, and then we'll be right back with Joe's segment.
The Average Joe Report.
And now we're into our segment here with my pal Joe Gurmo, world famous tattoo artist and two-time Indie award-winning actor. So this is the Average Joe Report, where Joe usually reviews a movie I have him watch, something that most people don't watch. Joe watches movies, but he's not into the industry like most of us are that you'll see on this podcast. This is a segment I really wanted to do, and we did it, in the prior season, but now we're video. So we got Joe here with us today. But this is a segment basically where he goes into whatever he thought about a movie. I just pick something random, have him give his thoughts on it, and we hear what his take is on it. This is the Average Joe Report. So how you been doing, man?
I've been doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Good.
Good
Uh,
stuff.
so I had you watch a really crazy movie this time around. This
Yeah, it
one
was
I
something.
found, yeah, this one I found at the Horror on Sea Film Festival earlier this year in January. I came across it. One of the directors was had submitted there, and it got selected and was playing. And I usually cover the entire event, which is it's quite a feat in itself to do that many reviews. But I love it
I
because
can imagine.
I love it because I find films like this, and so this one really stuck out to me. Basically, of all the films, there were a ton of great films I got to see throughout that film festival, but this one stuck with me the most. This is one that still hasn't left me. I had my brother watch it, had Joe watch it here. I've been pimping the movie out as much as I can. I saw that Tim Gross actually is having the director James L. Edwards of this film at his uh, film festival coming up here in a few days here. So, but yeah, James L. Edwards directed. It's called Her Name Was Christa, and it's not your average horror film. It's a little different. It's very indie. And caveat up front, the main actor in the film is James himself, the director. So, but I'm curious to really hear your thoughts. I mean, I've had discussions about this film already with other people because it's just so out there. But so yeah,
Yeah,
so let's get down to it, man. So what do you think of this?
man, the movie was wild. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it had so many different avenues and so many different directions going at it. Like, it was, you just never saw what was going to happen coming. But what was the director's name again?
James L. Edwards.
All right, James did a fantastic job making a movie. Like, I was emotionally invested, locked to this movie. Didn't feel good throughout any part of this movie for the most part. Like, it made me feel all the wrong things, but the fact that I felt those things shows like what a work of art this film was.
Yeah.
From, you said James was also playing, what was his name, Steve?
Oh, I forget the main character's name, but yeah, the main character of the film, that's James
I
himself.
think it was Steven. Yeah. So just Steven's whole pursuit is like the sad, quiet guy. Like, we've all known somebody like Steven before, and there's always this weird, like, underlying thing with these Stevens. But in this one, dude convinces him to go out and try prostitution because it's been so long since he's been with a woman. And, you're just waiting for things to go wrong, and then it doesn't. And then he hires her, and it ends up turning into this whole Pretty Woman feeling for like the whole mid chunk of the movie. And it's got like all these feel good vibes, but the problem is you can't feel those feel good vibes because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, we know something's gonna go awry here, but I was not ready for what happened.
Yeah, it's got a pretty explosive ending. So I mean,
man, it was
spoilers,
gratuitous.
real quick spoilers, just in case we say anything that anybody doesn't want to hear. So if you don't want to hear about it, but yes,
Right.
basically the synopsis is the main character, Steven, I'm not sure if that's his name or not, but yeah, he basically is looking for love basically in all the wrong places. His coworker says, hey, why don't you try some prostitutes, see how that goes. You can hire him just to go out with them and be friendly with them, and not about the sex and stuff, but just to help get your confidence up and whatnot. So he finds Krista, and they kind of develop this weird little relationship. But go ahead.
Right. And then, yeah, so at the beginning of the movie, two things really kind of stuck out to me that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I quickly got over them. The first was obviously like the raw audio. Like, I don't know, the sound didn't sound like super mastered or anything like that. Wasn't a huge issue after about 10 minutes. You just kind of get used to that. You tune it off. Another one was just a serious lack of camera stabilization in certain scenes. But other than that, once again, after about 10 minutes into the movie, I didn't even notice it again. So mustn't have been that big of an issue. The leverage of power in a lot of the scenes of this movie was also like something to point out. So the boss's manipulation, the leverage over Steven throughout the course of the movie had the Office Space kind of vibes from it.
Yeah, I actually got that too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
On top of that, his friend was also like kind of in a sense, it almost felt like he was just manipulating Steven to doing something, but I think he genuinely tried to help him. I don't know. He was a weird character. I think the movie could have kept or left him. He didn't really play a significant part. But and then there was the weird dichotomy between Steven and Krista throughout the course of the movie, where at first everybody's both very apprehensive, and then they start falling into place with it after the awkwardness, and then you can already tell, like, okay, something's happening. They're falling in love with each other. And then, yeah, the moment it all happened, the moment they got their big break, they both got freed from this hell of existence that they were in. He finds her dead on the bathroom floor. And then from there, it just unraveled.
Or so you think. Or so you think for a little while there.
Right.
Because it kind of does a little, juggles a little bit of, is she gone? Is she not? Is she not?
Right. And then it starts playing the heavy mental illness factors, because this man finally got his big break, and it just showed like that was the only thing that kept him together. He banked his entire basis of happiness on this interaction. So
let's go deeper quick. So this is spoiler for anybody who's watching. So do not listen to this if you want to watch this movie. We're gonna talk about the ending real quick, because I just want to talk to somebody about it and talk to you and see what you think. So yeah. So it freaked me out when I saw it, man, when I was watching it. And he, basically what happens is he ends up with, takes Krista, puts her in the bed and stuff, starts making love to her and whatnot. And as it goes on, as the days go on and the weeks, and turns in a couple months, he's decaying in the bed, and he's continuing to have sex with her and do some pretty sick, nasty stuff. And
and first of all, they did a great job through the decaying process. Like, they hit like every stage of it, and it was so grotesque and just gut wrenching, and like I said, it just filled you with all the wrong things.
Yeah, and the whole time, he's believing that she's still alive, right? So in his mind, he's pretending she's still there.
Yeah, and he's even saying that through the interview. Like, there was that part where he goes in the bathroom and he sees all of like the I don't know if it was blood or just necrotic juices or whatever the fuck it was. But he goes in there, he sees that, he ends up vomiting, and then like he hallucinates her in the doorway, and she's like, "You're fine, come back to bed." And he looks back in the mirror and it's gone. And then in the interview he's giving throughout the course of the movie, he even goes on to say, he's just like, "I don't understand it either, but I don't care."
Yeah.
So like he understood that he was being bewitched here.
Yeah,
somehow, some way.
The neighbor comes up at one point and is like, "Hey, it smells like death over here," basically.
Yeah, he's like, "I hit a sewer line remodeling the basement."
Yeah. So
yeah, he had these like plans. Like, he knew there was no way out of this. He depleted his funds, and Man, like he said, just 10 more seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the end of that movie just does it all. You're just like, Jesus. Like it went like real slow, and then it just had this nice build up, and then it just like tanked as
Yeah.
far as like this emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Work of art. Work of art. I have no desire to ever watch it again. But it was a work of art.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those ones that's really, when I find these ones like that, it's hard not to, try to get people to watch them. And I know it's really messed up. At the same time, like you said, it's such a work of art. It's so
Yeah.
brilliantly done. I mean, like you said, some of the things like the sound, I noticed that to begin with, some of the camera a little bit and stuff. But as the story goes on, you forget about all that because the story is so
Yep.
damn good. And then the ending shit with the gore and the stuff that this guy did, man, that's why I was like, I was so
Yeah.
impressed with it afterwards. I had to tell James himself, I was like, hey man, this is one hell of a fucked up movie. Best thing I've seen all year. I mean, it's not the best of this year because it's
Right.
it's from a couple of years ago, but it's so far literally the best thing I've seen this year, horror wise, because it is one of those ones. It's kind of like I mean, not as bad, but kind of like a Serbian film in a way and stuff like that, which I know I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen or not. I don't think you have, right?
I have seen one or two.
Okay. Yeah, it's so like the Serbian film or this one I like to tell everybody about called Joshua, which is to me is the most fucked up movie of all time, but it's Fangoria's Gore Zone. It's called Joshua. I don't ever like talking about it too much. I don't want to give anything away, but if anybody wants to go search that out, you can't find it streaming. You can only buy it to watch, but it's one of
I'll
those
have to check it out.
yeah, it's one of those movies where when you watch it, you'll never forget it, like this one, And
Right.
it's funny that after I had saw it and I started talking about it, I did notice a couple other reviewers that had reviewed it were like, yeah, they when people were like, "Hey, give me something really fucked up to watch," I put this name out there, and some of the other guys I know are like, "Yeah, that's one of them." I'm like, "Yeah, definitely, man." So,
Man, speaking of that, I remember I was like 16 years old when I ended up going into Blockbuster, and that's when I met you way back in the fucking day.
yeah.
And I used to ask you for those recommendations. I'm like, all right, man, give me something. What's the fucked up thing? And I'll never forget you recommended Beyond Reanimator
Oh, yeah.
to me.
Yeah. That's
Like,
not the
I don't
best
remember
one. Not the
much.
best one of the three, but I still really love that one.
Right. Yeah, it was
I
great.
mean,
I don't remember much of it. It's been what, 20 years, but yeah, like
yeah,
no, it's great. You're good with the recommendations. You know your movies. I'll say.
yeah. And this, I mean, I thought twice about asking you to review this one too, but I wanted to get
Oh, I understand.
somebody else's thoughts on it that isn't, like I said, that isn't in the industry like I am, that doesn't look at these movies because like it's like I've been saying to other people, it's like, after you make a movie, which you made a movie with me, you're the star of
Right.
Grimoire, our movie Grimoire Volume 1, and there will be a Volume 2, Volume 3 starring Joe as well. He'll be in, the rest of it as well. And he has won a couple Best Actor awards and being compared to Clint Eastwood in the movie. But I'm
That is
just saying,
ridiculous.
aside from me bringing you into that, you basically just watch movies. You don't seek out this shit like I do. And
Right.
so I wanted to, I wanted to get, an average person's, the average Joe report, an average person's, thoughts on a movie like this. So, but yeah, I had thought twice about asking you to watch it, but I was like, I'll pull the trigger and see what Joe says, and because if it was too much,
Man,
I figured you turn it off and tell me, hey man, yeah, but
right. You know me, like nothing offends me. Like I'm an artist,
yeah,
dude. Like my entire life is art, or not entire life. I'm also a father. That's actually more important than being an
yes.
artist.
Well,
But
that is art in itself, but
exactly, those are my masterpieces, man. But
seriously, yes. But
any movie or song or even just photograph or still art that invokes any type of an emotion is a masterpiece in my book. And this was 2 hours long, and it had you on edge with this tenseness, this unsettling feeling through the whole movie. And then on top of that, they didn't leave you hanging with this unsettling feeling and wondering what if. They answered your questions, and it was the worst possible thing you could imagine.
yeah,
Like, it was great. Like, it was absolutely well made. Like, I was so emotionally invested, like I said. Like, as an artist, I appreciate the hell out of this movie. I will never watch it again.
Yeah, well, it's
but
one
I
of those
appreciate
ones
it.
that sticks with you. So you don't have to
Yeah,
watch it again because you'll never
I
forget.
will never forget it.
So, it's one of those films. Yeah. So I thought it was great. So any final thoughts you want to say on it besides that? I mean,
No, man, I think I pretty much covered it all. Like,
yeah,
it was it was a good film. Like I said, good film.
yeah.
Not my favorite style. Not something I'll sit down to put on a random
Yeah.
Tuesday night. But
Yeah, and I won't have you watch many more stuff like this, but this was one of those ones that was a little bit more tame, so I figure, I'll go for it.
yeah,
So
no, it was a good one. It was a good one to kick off season 3 and stuff like that. It was a big one.
yeah,
It
definitely.
was something to talk about. That's for damn
Exactly,
sure.
exactly. And on that note, we're gonna say goodbye to Joe here. We're gonna hop into our feature interview we have with a couple of folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this. And thanks,
All right,
thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. As always, it's a pleasure.
All right.
And now for an interview with the monster.
All right, and welcome to the In the Mouth of Monster podcast. This is our feature interview today, and we have some special guests here. Let me go around the table real quick and introduce you guys. We have Tracy Allen, who is a longtime writer, producer, author, and now a voice actress, which we'll get into here in a little bit. So nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
We also have Joseph D. Rodriguez here, who's a writer, director, editor, and longtime animator, it appears. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be a part of this. I'm excited.
Awesome. And we have Jason Bourne Boring. And yes, that's his name.
Actually, it's not.
Actually, it's not. It's
It's
Justin.
Justin Bourne Boring.
Well, that's what I said.
I get that a lot.
Anyways, writer, voice actor, and director.
Mm.
And so
artist.
nice to have you
Writer,
as well.
sculptor, painter. you
Yeah.
name it.
Do you see
Oh,
that thing in the behind him there that's his he's an artist too.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
this thing.
That's the bottom half of it. Yeah.
All right. Oh, the light
There
shot.
it is.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a beast.
All right. So we're gonna talk to you guys here about some films and stuff you guys have gotten into today. First off, I want to just go around the table and if you guys can each tell us where you're from. Whoever wants to go first here.
We can go in order, Tracy.
Okay. If it's the same order you're seeing.
Yeah.
So Tracy Allen, I'm from Connecticut, and I'm not from the west side of Connecticut where everyone's rich. The other side where everyone is a farmer. So and yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Joseph, as you said. I am out of West Texas right now, Odessa to be more specific. Oil field country, so it's very flat, very hot right now. Trying to stay cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These trying times, if you will.
Yeah,
So,
I'm in
yeah.
Arizona, so I feel you.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. It's bad.
Yeah, it's like
It is
110
really
for like 3 weeks straight now.
Yes.
Over 110 3 weeks straight. Yeah,
Well,
it's ridiculous.
And our AC broke, so that's just been fun.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been without central heating or central AC for at least 3 weeks. So
Yeah,
Oh my
ours
God.
almost went out. Luckily, we caught it right before it did, so we
Oh,
were in
thank God.
trouble.
we have 100% humidity here, so
Oh,
it's a
Mm,
different kind of
mm.
heat, but it's
Ooh.
still
Oh.
gross.
Yeah, humidity's not.
Yeah.
all right, and you, Justin?
I'm Justin Bourne Boring. Here in North Carolina. I was going to complain about how hot it is, but it's not as hot as it is in
Oh.
Arizona or Texas. But
That's
Yeah,
am I
The humidity-
freaking up on you guys
humidity is what really
A little
gets
bit.
a little bit?
All right, so how did you guys, being you guys are all from different places, how did you guys connect and come together to start working together here?
Justin tell a story.
Well, hopefully I don't freeze up. If I do, let me know. Yeah, I met Tracy through Facebook. Never seen her in the flesh. Been friends for what, 3 years now? And we had a lot of like interests and a mutual undying love of Bill Oberst Jr. So that got us connected, and through our conversations, she had mentioned that she had written some stuff for him for his Gothic Goodnight podcast. And I was like, oh, wow, I'd love to read that. So I read it. I thought it was amazing. I was like, hey, let's develop that, and we did. She fleshed out the script for a short, and I did some editing. I did the storyboards. I did the character design, and we went through 2 years. Well, I guess it was a year of pure hell, with animators, trying to find the right animators, dealing with them, and all their eccentricities,
Yes.
et cetera, et cetera. And when we finally got all the animation in and everything, we looked at it and we're like, this is garbage and it's not going to work. So we bowed our heads and cried. And once again, through perusing Facebook, I came across Joseph and a couple of his things through mutual friends. And I was like, whoa, now, wait a minute. And I started looking at his videos and animation. I was like, okay, this is what we want. This is what we need. So I contacted him to see if he'd be interested, and he was. I contacted Tracy to see if she had more money to throw down the drain. And
Right.
and she did. So we scrapped the original animation and started from square one again, this time the right way. And Joseph did amazing work. We were blown away.
Blew it out of the water.
Yeah. Really excited by it. And got a big response, lots of views, over 17,000 on YouTube.
Nice.
And we loved the experience so much, we're like, let's do another one. So this one I wrote, I Am Worthless. The first one was Weight of Guilt.
Yeah.
And
we created Same Damn Brain Productions because we all, especially Justin and I, have the same, like, everything
Damn
is
brain.
the same thing about
Same damn
everything.
brain.
Yeah, so we formed the production company, got Joseph involved. Everybody was really impressed with Weight of Guilt, like I said, so we moved on to do another one, keep the momentum going, strike while the iron's hot. I developed a small script, an outline, and I felt for this one, the Weight of Guilt was more episodic. We were going for something that maybe we could continue doing, or pitch as a series, something like that. For I Am Worthless, we wanted to do something more theatrical. Our end game was to pitch it as a movie, maybe movie franchise. So we did a trailer, a proof of concept trailer, and man, it was the coolest thing I ever seen, even if I say so myself. Joseph once again, cracked the code on all the characters and dialed it in. It was amazing. Loved it. Got, what did we get? 53,000 views on that?
Yeah, I think 54. I think it's up to 54.
Whoa.
And a really good crowd reaction at Frightmare.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, which I was able to attend. When was that? A month ago.
Yeah.
We played it there during their fake horror trailer, premiere night, and everyone just like, the minute it started, that first frame, everyone in the crowd was just like audible, ooh, you know what I mean? They all were just so invested, and they clapped really hard and cheered at the end. It was awesome. It was inspiring.
Yeah. Joseph sent us video, and it really does the heart good when when you see a positive response like that. And special shout out to Billy Pond, who got us in that one, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been on the show previously, so
Oh, I love Billy.
Yeah, big
Yeah, shout out
fans of
Billy.
his.
fantastic.
And we really appreciated him, contacting Joseph saying, hey, why don't you put this in?
Yes.
And now we're at the boring, horrible, getting the pitch Bible together, all the boring stuff, finding people to pitch it to.
All right, so let's start out with Tracy here. Like I said, you're a writer, producer, author, and soon to be voice actress. So how did you get involved in the genre of, in the horror and and your switch over from the website world to the film world instead, being you used to be the co-owner and runner of pophorror.com, which I still write for, and you do as well. Just you stepped down and took a smaller role with the website to pursue the film stuff. So how did you get involved in in the genre and whatnot?
Well, honestly, it's all Justin's fault. So it was all just going smooth as sailing's fine, and then all of a sudden Justin's like, let's make something, and I was like, okay. But I mean, before that, like, I'd always had aspirations, but I never knew how to go from one to the other. So I started writing. I've been writing my whole life, and I've always loved horror movies. So it was a natural fit when we started Pop Horror to keep into also we call it pop horror, but it's really indie horror, which is not as it's not as popular to talk about. And through that, I interviewed a lot of people. I interviewed Joe Castro, who's an amazing FX artist, and I interviewed Bill Oberst Jr., and I interviewed all these people. And because I had these connections with all these people, when we decided to make this small character-driven animation, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I want to be involved in that," because they knew me through the site, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And now, so there's a new movie coming. We're at 97% funding for A Stranger in the Woods, which is being directed by Joseph, and I think you say his last name, Glai, Glai. He's from Hungary, and it's going to star Bill and Lynn Lowry, and a wonderful actress named Laura Wilson. And he's planning on starting filming in October, and I will play the 911 operator. And just as an aside, I am actually auditioning to there's a new audiobook company called Fireside Audio, and it's being run by Joe Hempel, and I'm going to audition to narrate audiobooks. That might be
Nice.
Amazing.
I have a lot of practice reading in front of people or at all, because I'm a librarian, so for children. So I spend all of my time reading and performing, dancing around for kids. So I figure, how much worse can it be to read something where I don't have to get up and dance around? It might be, hey,
Wow.
try it.
Right. Yeah, I just recently did my first ever voiceover role as well. So in the movie Bathtub Shark Attack, I got to play a neighbor that yells a bunch of cuss words at people and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of fun to yell and get kind of rowdy for it. So if you watch the film, you'll hear me in it. It's not very nice, the things I said, but that was the whole point of the part I was given. So yeah, it's very fun to get into that and to do that. So Joseph, you're a fantastic animator. So what made you want to get into animating, and especially horror animation? Because I Am Worthless is just, I mean, insane. So
I love both of them.
oh no, they're both great. I just
they're
that one
both
was
fun.
especially
That one's
bloody
is
and
so fun.
so
I really enjoyed when Justin came to me with that idea. and then he showed me his concept art. I had no idea where he was going with it. I was like, this is rad. Like, I'm loving the energy here. It's bombastic, you know. But man, yeah. To answer your question though, with animation, I got started young. I was like 12, and I'm currently, for reference, 26. But I was 12 years old when I just picked
It's
up
just a baby.
just a baby. Barely
Super baby.
super baby over here. No, it's true. But my next door neighbor had a piece of trial software for a program called Moho, which at the time was called Anime Studio, and I picked that up and I started playing with it. Because I at the time I was like, I want to be able to like tell stories, you know what I mean? And that has been a long process getting to this point of, you know what I mean, refining that skill set. So that has been my first love, I'd say, is animation, and then from there it has moved into doing live action shorts. But a lot of the principles stay the same, you know what I mean? Learning about blocking and framing and all that jazz, editing, you know, and writing a script is, you know, paramount in both. It's very important. But it's been fun, and working with Tracy and Justin has been a blast. Like when Justin got a hold of me, you know, and he was like, you want to make a project. It was the first. No, it wasn't the first. I'd say it was like the first one that I felt, I don't know, both very professional. It felt very professional, especially what we came out with in the end of it. But it really, man, I'm just so proud of the stuff that we've made together, y'all. It's been a blast, absolutely, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. I think, you know, that I've always enjoyed cartoons growing up, right? So it's also been key, I guess, in my development. But yeah,
That would help. Yeah.
no, for sure, absolutely, yeah.
All right, and Justin, we'll get to you now. So you're a writer, producer, voice actor, and a great director. Uh, so how did you find yourself getting into film and directing and the horror especially? Because it's all, you know, it's always crazy to find out how people got into the horror genre. I mean,
Oh yeah,
we're all kind of outcast and nerds, and I assume that's how most of us got in there. But
you're not wrong. Well, my mother used to read Stephen King to me, you know, when I was like 6, and you know, after enduring a few panic attacks and petting me and telling me everything was okay, I got really into it, you know, watching the movies. I'm an artist. I've always been an artist first. So I started drawing all these, you know, pictures that freaked my teachers out and scared, you know, kids in class, which I really liked that reaction. So, so I just kept it going. You know, I did some comic book stuff in the past, and developed a manga through Tokyo Pop, and that's when it really launched out for me. And you know, I was doing freelance stuff, and you know, some one sheets and posters and things like that. Only when I penetrated into the indie world in Tracy, I was like, man, you know, I always wanted to be a storyteller. I'm a writer also. I have like 16 different hats that I wear. And
Oh, he writes romance books too.
oh, nice.
dark fantasy
Yeah.
romance.
Yes.
It's a hard genre, so I give you props on that.
Well, I did write one traditional romance novel just to see if I could. It was fun. I enjoyed it, got a good response. So then I moved into my more comfortable realm of dark fantasy romance. And I'm actually working on book 3 now. But, you know, Tracy and I got along so well. We shared a brain, you know. After reading her thing that she had written for Bill Oberst's Gothic Goodnight, you know, I was like, okay, we got to do this. And I had a little something cooking in the wings with Worthless, but I wanted to do this first. And we really cover the spectrum with both of these 2 projects, both of which feature Bill Oberst Jr., of course. And actually, Joe Castro does a voice in Worthless. I love that guy, man. I love his special effects. You know,
Okay.
he blows me away. Such a sweet guy, amazing talent. But you know, like whereas Tracy's is this slow burn kind of emotional, sad, melancholy, really unique, interesting take on the zombie genre. I Am Worthless is this, you know, balls to the wall, bloody slasher slash monster flick, which I owe Tracy some credit for too. We were brainstorming one day. We had this slasher, you know, Worthless, his whole backstory and this and that. And I was showing her some paintings I did for the manga I did, War on Flesh. These genetically altered zombie baboons. And she was like, dude, she's like, you got to put one of those in Worthless, man. They got to square up. And I said, excuse me. And then it was so, and I Am Worthless was rejuvenated and born. And yeah, once we talked with Joseph, and we knew what he could do with Weight of Guilt and everything, it touched off. And you know, I've always been a horror fanatic, you know, since day one. So I never had a chance.
All of our boomer parents were just like, here's how horror and have fun.
Yeah. You know,
my mom was always like, you know, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. So, you know, or, you know, it's just, she would read us crazy stories when she got us into books a lot when we were kids. So we read a ton of crazy, you know, adventure and fantasy stuff and everything. So yeah, every time, you know, our parents put us in front of the TV and in front of horror movies when I was probably like 6 or 7.
yeah.
You know, they, like I say, they would always just, it's just a movie, it's just a movie, you know, and that's how I became a nerd. And, you know, I eventually, you know, went into looking into gore and different types of horror and all the different genres, subgenres, all that fun stuff that, you know, it kind of led me into that. So, I mean, I get that. I understand that. So you guys mentioned working with Bill Oberst Jr., and I wanted to get into that a little bit. What is it like working with him? He was supposed to be a guest on this pod. However, my podcast went away for about 1.5 years there after I started doing my own short films and stuff, which I have one that's out that's won a few awards, and played at a couple of the festivals where you guys had your animated films playing as well.
Oh,
And I know you guys have
nice.
award winners on there as well. You guys have done some pretty cool stuff with that. But yeah, what was it like working with Bill and getting him involved, you know, doing the voice work and that?
Bill is amazing. Bill is he's the scariest like he plays the scariest characters, and you wouldn't, like, if you saw him standing outside your house, you would be terrified. But then you talk to him and you're like, well, he's the most humble, sweet man you've ever met in your life. And I had interviewed him in like 2016, and then we just stayed in touch. So when it came time to need a narrator, Weight of Guilt is narrated. It's not I mean, he does have like lines, the character does have lines, but it's mostly narrated, and he did the narration for that. And he was just so nice about it too. Just, he had the lines down. He did it perfectly the first time. We didn't even have to send it back. So when it came time to do Worthless, we were like, well, we know we don't want Bill as the voice of Worthless, because Justin has a really good voice for that. But we were like, we have this psycho in a straitjacket. Let's have Bill do that. And he was, if you listen to the guy talk, it's just like, you have to
laugh.
You have to laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That laugh that Bill does, man.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I met him at a horror convention out here, Phoenix FearCon in 2020, and talked to him in person. And like you said, he's yeah, you know, I hate to say, but a creepy looking kind of guy. And so, like you said, if you've seen him outside of your house, you might trip out. But once you talk to him, he is such a genuine soul, just a down to earth and nice guy. And gave me his phone number to have him on my podcast. But like I said, I had to put this on hold for a while as I went into my own film stuff, which I just kind of, jumped into. But yeah, he's just a fantastic guy and very fun. And
Okay.
Well, and he, initially he didn't want to take any payment for it. He's like, no, I want to contribute. I believe in this, and you guys are great. And we had to like sneak attack, pay him just a little bit. I mean, we had to give him something. It was so narrative driven. And he had such a huge role in it. We just didn't feel right about it. And he was like, well, why did you pay me? You didn't have to do that. We're like, no, but we love you, Bill. But, and then when he did Worthless, it's just a few lines, but oh man, I mean, it sets the whole tone,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I want to take a quick second to welcome Gloria Jean Robertson with us, my co-host here. We had a little problem getting her on to begin with to start the episode, but she is on now. So nice to have you, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Gloria. Well, we can't hear you, hon.
Oh, no, the mic's not working.
I think you're muted, or the mic's not working there.
So close.
I think she just muted it.
I'm gonna ask her to mute. Anyways,
Oh,
No.
still can't hear you. Well, we'll continue to move on until you get that part figured out as well. You guys also mentioned that you, since we're starting to run out of time here, you guys also mentioned that you worked with Joe Castro, and what was that like getting him to do some of the voice work as well? He's a phenomenal sculptor and makeup guy and special effects guy.
Well, I had been talking to him just friendly. We were friends on Facebook. Because I'm also a sculptor, and just loved his work, amazed by him and his talent. And he was posting some things about wanting to do some acting, and really wanting to get into doing acting, and by that idea, maybe some voice work and stuff like that. So I contacted him. I was like, hey, look, I got this character. I pretty much wrote him for you, this sheriff in the town where everything's going crazy, Sheriff Shaker. And I did some conceptual artwork and stuff, and that sold him. I sent it to him, and he's like, I'm in, and he'd never done any voice acting before, but, did a great job. And ideally, when we pitch this, we'll pitch the full project with Castro in that character and Bill Oberst in the other one. I like writing roles specifically for actors, even if it doesn't pan out that way in the end. But he was very gracious, very professional, of course, always. And we may use him for other things down the road. Certainly some voice acting and etc. if he's got the time.
Yeah, he's a very, very, very busy guy.
Indeed.
So I wanted to be able to talk to you guys a little bit more, but time constraints and whatnot, and time zones especially, it is always a fun thing to mess with. But since we're running out of time here, I know you have the campaign coming up for, you guys are running it for the Stranger in the Woods with Bill Oberst. What else do you have, for fans to look out for? What are you guys all three? You guys have any other projects coming up, or what do you guys have going on that people should be on?
Oh, Joseph.
Yes, we are, and this is it's still underway, but we are in the process of trying to work on our third one, and I'm excited for this. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of hiccups, bumps along the way. This project has taken longer. We've gotten another director who's overseeing this one, but it's called the IRWC, and I'll leave it at that. It's interesting. So I'm looking forward to how this one turns out. And Justin is voicing the lead for this, which is awesome. So I'm super stoked for that. And keep an eye out. We'll be soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But
And
yeah.
you got a lot of other stuff for yourself going on, right, Joseph?
It's true. One of my big ones is I'm trying to finish a feature, an animated one called Autonomy, or at least get a pitch deck going for that. So that's one for me to keep an eye out on for. Sure.
And then Tracy, like I said, you had that campaign.
Mhm.
Is that Indiegogo or
It's Go Get Funding,
okay.
which I'd never heard of, but Joseph picked it.
Okay.
But yeah, so so that's, I mean,
So if you want to go ahead again, Tracy.
okay. So I was just saying that we our crowdfunder is really close. It only needs like $117 to get to our goal.
Oh wow.
Please. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but and then that will start filming in October in Hungary.
Oh wow.
I wish I was going to Hungary. I just get to do a voice.
Wait, how much, Tracy? 117?
Yeah.
Here, pledge me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me the link. I'll do it.
Oh, thank you, Justin.
It's only $100. You're
Yeah.
that close.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And you recorded on that saying that now, so now you're obligated.
Yeah, right.
What happened to Joseph?
I don't know. He was
I don't know. My
glitching in and out.
camera's it's
Oh, I
dying.
hear him.
Yeah, no, my mic's fine, but my camera's a little finicky. So, but I did say my part, so just try not to focus on it if you can.
Oh,
So
No
sorry
worries.
about
That is a sexy picture of you, though.
Thank
It
you.
is.
That's from like 2015. I need to update that.
There you go.
for you, that was like half a lifetime ago.
It's
No,
true.
we're
it's
so
true.
young. Huh?
I
wish I was that
appreciate
age,
it. But now Justin, right? The nitty gritty Justin. What have you been up to?
Oh, yes. What am I doing? Well, I'm finishing up book 3 of a 5-book series. It's the 1,000 Scars for You series. Book 1 is Beauty is a Blade, and that's actually free on the website and Amazon. My website is Justin Bourne, Bourne, Boring, BORING.com, and you can get book 1 for free. Book 2 is available on all the platforms. All of them are available on the platforms, but it's better if you get it through my website.
Yeah.
And yeah, book 3 is going to launch in February of next year. And I mean, like Joseph said, we're working on our 3rd project right now. It's going to be insane. It's got,
Hell yeah.
you know, it's got his animation quality. This one I just put money behind. Our mutual friend Jess Norvisgard, he directed Good Things Devils Do with Bill Oberst, of course, because we're all incestual. And we're really expecting it to be pretty great. And I do believe Bill Oberst is supposed to be, I'm not sure if we have him yet, but he's supposed to do some voiceover stuff if his schedule permits. And we're pretty excited about that. I'm launching some figures. I'm cracking the code on doing some sculpting figures, 3D scanning them, and then 3D printing them, which should be pretty cool. Keep your eyes on my Facebook page for that. And that's
Amazing.
it. Just
And then to wrap it up here, so where can people stay up to date with you guys and follow you and all the work you've got going? Where are you mostly, prominent on in social medias and whatnot?
Tracy, you can go first.
Okay. So we have a Facebook page, Same Damn Brain Productions, of course. So we post stuff there, and also personally, anywhere on social media, if you put in I Sing You Sing, which is ICINGYOUSING, kind of a play on like ice cream, you scream, I'll scream for ice cream. Yeah, so that's how you remember. So that's where I am everywhere else.
And also you can find Same Damn Brain on Linktree.
Oh yes.
linktree.samedamnbrain. You can do linktree.justinbourne.boring also. That gives you all my social media, and that the Same Damn Brain link tree connects you to Joseph as well.
Yes.
So it has all his stuff on there as well. So
Which yes. And you can also type in josephdannyrodriguez.com, my full name, and that'll bring you to my site, which links out to my other socials. I'm very active on Instagram usually, but I post on YouTube too, shorts if I make them. So yeah, absolutely.
And then you can always find all of these guys, and myself included, on IMDb. So if you guys really want to figure out what we're doing and where we're going, you can check that out with any of our names there. So
Absolutely.
anyways, great to have you guys. Thank you for coming on. I know you got a ton of stuff you guys are doing, so you know, in some months here we'll have you back on hopefully, and go over some stuff that you guys are doing, because we barely even scratched the surface with this. I mean, you guys got individually so many things going on that I didn't have time to talk about it all. So you guys are all very you know, fantastic creators and creatives, and you know, it's nice talking to you guys, and I love seeing your work. Watch both of those short films; they're just fantastic, and they're out there winning awards right now. So congrats, and thank you guys.
Thanks so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
It was awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Tell Gloria we'll see her next time.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully we can figure her out and get her on.
Absolutely.
And that's going to do it for this edition of In the Mouth of Monster. I'm your host, Monster Dugan.
I'm Gloria Jean Movie Queen.
And we'll see you guys later. Stay safe, monsters.